Picture two apartments, same city, same neighborhood, similar rent. The first belongs to someone earning Joel Ling a year. Walk inside and you'll find a 62-inch television mounted on the wall, a leather sectional that costs $C. Ling, a kitchen full of appliances still in their original boxes, closets overflowing with clothes bearing tags never removed, and a spare bedroom converted into storage for things untouched for years. This person checks their bank account with a knot in their stomach, 2 missed paychecks away from crisis. Land, the second apartment belongs to someone earning Wusher Ling a year. Walk inside and you'll notice space. A modest couch, a reasonably sized television, a kitchen with exactly the tools that get used, a closet with clothes that actually get worn. The spare bedroom is actually a bedroom. This person checks their bank account with calm confidence. 18 months of expenses saved, 20% of every paycheck invested, same neighborhood. The person earning almost half as much has nearly 10 times the financial security. This isn't a story about income. It's about the hidden relationship between stuff and money that most people never understand. Marcus earned Joel Ling a year and lived in permanent low-grade financial anxiety, dressed up in expensive furniture. Every Friday evening carried a particular dread the moment he opened his banking ... app and confronted the gap between what he earned and what remained. Van down the hall lived Nadia. She earned Wusher Ling daughters. Her apartment felt like a deep breath, deliberate, calm, uncluttered. 31 items of clothing in her closet, everything worn, everything purposeful, 18 months of expenses saved. 20% of every paycheck moving automatically into investments before she ever saw it. She simply felt fine. Marcus couldn't remember the last time he had felt fine. They met in the elevator one October morning. Marcus noticed Nadia's jacket, simple, well-made, quietly quality, nice jacket. He said, "Thank you." 6 years old, bought by Memphre Prowan. She for him up? 6 years old, she replied. Cost $300. Divide that by how many times I've worn it, and it costs almost nothing per use at this point. The math caught in Marcus's mind as the elevator descended. He thought about the jacket he'd bought last spring. $200, worn twice before the novelty faded, $100 per wear. He had never once thought about it that way. Is that actually how you decide what to buy? He asked. Valiant always, Nadia said. Most purchases look absurd when you calculate the real cost per use. The things that seem expensive, a quality mattress, a jacket you wear constantly, often turn out to be the cheapest. Everything else is mostly emotion dressed up as a decision. That night, Marcus stood in his spare bedroom doorway and looked at it with new eyes. A treadmill occupied the corner, currently serving as a clothes hanger. He had paid E. Urbeck for it. At roughly $40 per square foot annually, it consumed 20 square feet, costing him $800 a year in space alone, beyond the purchase price. He looked around the rest of the room, a kayak used twice, camera equipment unopened for over a year. A drum kit purchased after a concert convinced him briefly that music was his calling. He asked himself a question he had never considered before. If every item in this room disappeared tonight, would he spend money to replace any of it? No, not one item. They existed through inertia, not intention, remnants of enthusiasms that had run their course and left their equipment behind. And gents, he opened a resale app for the first time. Over the following weeks, Marcus examined the patterns he had never questioned. 3 shopping apps delivered notifications throughout the day, manufacturing urgency around objects he hadn't thought about 60 seconds earlier. He deleted them all and felt something shift, a quiet he hadn't known was missing. He implemented a 24-hour rule before any non-essential purchase. Most desires dissolved overnight. He would wake up genuinely unable to remember what he had wanted so urgently the night before. And he automated a savings transfer, small at first, time to move the morning his paycheck arrived, before the money became part of what he considered available. The logic was simple. Engineer the environment so the right behavior requires no willpower at all. He started counting possessions. Shirts, he guessed 14, found 29. Kitchen gadgets, 11 items, 4 regularly used. The numbers made visible something hiding in plain sight. He wasn't just owning too much. He was paying, month after month, in space and attention to store things he didn't actually want. And by December, Nadia had him over for coffee. Her apartment still struck him with its quality of breathable space. "I nearly bought a boat last spring," Marcus said, "when I mapped out the full picture: storage, insurance, registration, the trailer, vehicle modifications. The real cost was terrifying. I'd been looking at a purchase price and calling it the cost." Nadia nodded. "Nothing expensive comes alone. Every major thing arrives with an ecosystem of smaller things that follow it through the door. The boat needs the truck needs the hitch, the storage unit needs a monthly payment. All of it needs your attention indefinitely. I never defined what enough actually looks like," Marcus said quietly. "I kept earning more and the lifestyle expanded to fill it. I never arrived anywhere. That's the trap," Nadia said. "Without a finish line, you run forever. The gap between what you earn and what you've defined as enough, that's the only number that actually builds anything." Poundy by spring, Marcus's spare bedroom was a bedroom again. Over 130 items removed, not through one dramatic purge, but through small weekly decisions that became automatic. 3 items reviewed per week. Sustainable, quiet, cumulative. His banking app showed 4 months of expenses saved. Not 18 like Nadia's, but climbing steadily in a direction it had never moved before. And again, the 2 apartments on the 7th floor still looked identical from the hallway. Same doors, same carpet, same hum of the building's ventilation. But inside them, 2 entirely different lives were being built. Not by income, not by luck, but by one repeatable decision made across hundreds of ordinary days. Own things deliberately, or to let things own you. Marcus had finally chosen the first option. The math had always been simple. The peace of mind that followed was worth more than anything he had ever bought.